And hello everyone, welcome back to a new video. So, today we'll be covering a pretty big, or not big, but just important topic in Python. It's a tuple. Now, usually you will have a type of list or array. So, let's say, for example, my list is equal to, let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here we have a basic array or list. And if we were to print my list, then as you can see we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But the thing with lists are you can go something like my list dot is it append, and if you print that, now you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, whilst this is really helpful because now you can modify it whenever you need to, the problem is, one, it's slow because, first of all, it should keep the order in which everything is stored. Second of all, it should be mutatable and it can have any sort of data type inside of it, and it's just slow, and it is, in general, what you'd use if you know you're going to change a type of list. Now, where a tuple comes in is basically it is used to create a constant list or array. So if I were to go here and say my tuple, and instead of using square brackets, I'm just going to use normal brackets. And here I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to show you the same example. And if I were to print my tuple, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But the thing is, a tuple cannot be modified. It has nothing you can do to modify it. So trying to append, so my tuple.append, and let's say 6, that won't work because tuple object has no attribute append because it doesn't need one. A tuple works a lot like a normal list, so you can go and you can say give me at index 0, which will give you 1, give me at index 1, which will give you 2. It can also contain basically any types of values, so, and if we were to print that out, Max Tim Joshua. So it's a lot like a list, it's just the only thing is you can't modify it. So with a list you could always go something like, and that would work in a list. But if you were to try the same thing with a tuple, then yet again you'll get the same error because it does not support item assignment because it is a constant variable. Also with a tuple you don't really need this. Basically if you're going to do that, then it will automatically assign this as a tuple because it will most likely just stay the same. So as you can see, it's a tuple. Although if you were to try and create a tuple like this won't work because this is seen as a string. Because if we were to go and if we print out, we get max. But if we were to try and get the type of it, so type, and then the type of tuple, as you can see, it's class of string. This is because there's only one value in here, so there's no reason to make it a tuple since it's only one value. But as soon as we add a second value of any type, maybe go Peppy this time, it's going to be of type tuple, because now there's more than one type of variable inside of it, because only having one variable inside of a tuple is kind of unnecessary, it's useless, because what's the point? It can just be a normal variable then. You can also change a list into a tuple. So we can always make this a list. And then surround it inside of brackets. And if we were to say tuple, then if we try and get the type, then it will be as a tuple. And if we print it out, then we will get a tuple. So it will convert the string into a tuple. Very normal, but if we were to remove this right here, that tuple, then this will be a normal list. So then it's just a list in brackets. Of course, we can also do this. We print that out, then it's lists inside of a tuple. So we try and get the type of it now. It's tuple. You can also get the length of a tuple, which is very easy. So if we just create a normal tuple again, then to get the length of a tuple, all you have to do is say len, and that, as usual, will return the length of a tuple. It's free, because 1, 2, 3. We can also search for something just like with a list. We can search for something inside of a tuple. So if, and let's say if Tim in my tuple, then print found Tim. Else print not found. So just like a list, if we search found Tim, you're going to hear it then say Tim's, it's not going to find it, so not found. You can also count some things with a tuple. So if we were to go here and say but we can actually count the amount of ends in here. So we can say the my tuple dot count, and let's say we want to count the amount of ends, which in this case there are 3 ends. 3. Do the same with A, we'll get 3 A's. Do the same with B, and we'll get 1 B. Useful to count the amount of specific items in it. You can also find an index instead of it, so we can say index, and then if we put anything in here, it will give you the index of it. So if we go that, it will say 0. If we go A, it will find the first index, so 1, because A, the first one found is here at index 1, and N would be at index 2, because the first N is there. We can also like add some extra details here, so maybe Tim, he is now 24 years old, and let's say Tim is a software engineer. Now we can actually assign these variable or these two variables, so we can say name, age, job, and we can make that equal to my tuple. Now it will assign all of these, so the third variable right here will be the third item in this tuple. Second variable, second item. First variable, first item. So if we were to print out name, age, and job, then we would get Tim, 24, and software engineer. So you can assign variables with the details inside of the my tuple. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then with the tuple, we can actually do this. So let's say item 1, and then star items, and then last item, and then we can make this one maybe first item. And now we can assign that to my tuple, and here we can say we can print out and then f string, yeah, we can print out first item. On the next line we can print out items, and on the next line we can print out last item. And if we were to print this out, as you can see, it gets 1, and then in the list 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8. So it assigns the first item, then all of the items leading up until the last item, and it will store it inside of a list. You can also use a tuple to assign multiple variables. That's basically what I've been doing this entire time, but you can also do it in a more direct way. So for example, name, age, and you can make that equal to Jack, and let's say he is 99. Then basically, if we were to print out name, then we'll get Jack. So you're assigning these variables. It's what we've been doing this entire time, but now it's just more direct. If you want to assign multiple variables, then there you go. Value 1 is equal to, let's say, 5, 9, and 10. Value 2 is equal to 0, 8, and 20. Now you can print out value 1 bigger than value 2. So is value 1 bigger than value 2? Yes, it is. So even though if you count all of this up, this one will most likely be the biggest because 20 plus 8 is 28. 10 plus 9, that's 19. Plus 5, that is 24. So this one is still 4 numbers bigger than this one right here. But it compares the first items. But if the first items are of the same value, then it's going to compare the second item. So if we were to make this a 7 instead of an 8, this is going to say false. But if we're going to make this a 9 instead of 8, this is going to say true. Here, if we were to make this a 2 instead of 5, this is going to say false. So it compares the first item, and if those two are the same, it compares the second item. If those two are the same, it compares the third item. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed and now know more about tuples, and see you all in the next video.